Fantastic. Hi, guys. I'm Jess Hartley, and I am so excited to be introducing you guys to Changeling the Lost this evening. Um, for those of you who have, ran down to the printer, out of breath. For those of you who haven't played Changeling the Lost before, you're basically playing humans who have been kidnapped by legendary creatures known as the True Fae and taken to a place called Arcadia, where they basically rule as gods. You spent some time there serving them in whatever manner their inhuman preferences were. You might have been a light by their bedside. You might have been a guard dog in their courtyard. You might have been a messenger or a spy or an entertainer. And somehow you managed to make your way back to the human world through something called the Hedge, which is a labyrinthine bramble of magic and supernatural power that constantly shifts and turns and is home to monsters and hobgoblins and all kinds of fey creatures. Now that you're back into the real world, you are kind of struck with, what do you do now? You've changed. The True Fae often leave something called a fetch in your place, so your life has been filled by a simulacrum that resembles you, or at least who you used to be. And your highest goal is to figure out how to avoid being taken back by the True Fae while making a quality life for yourself back in the real world. Changeling is a really interesting game, and I'm very excited to be teaching it to mental health professionals. One of my favorite things about it that's different than D&D, which you guys have been kind of learning all along here, is D&D and a lot of games like it look at characters as their race and their class. You basically have what you were born as and what you learned how to do. Changeling takes that axis and shifts it. It doesn't determine who your characters are based on who you were born as, but rather what happened to you. So a beast changeling will be very different than a Ferris changeling, a changeling who was created to serve as a guardian for their True Fae keeper, would be very different than one who was designed to serve as a companion for them. So you've got your seeming and your kith, which represent what you were shaped into by your keeper. And then you have your court, which represents what mindset you took upon it when you escaped to keep it from happening again. So it really kind of works as an analog for how we're affected by trauma and many of the other things that happen in our lives. It's not who we were born to be and what we learned, but rather what happened to us and how that changed us as we go forward. And just like people can, changelings can change their courts and their perspectives over time, find new coping mechanisms and tools that work better for them. So I think it's a really interesting analog, especially for mental health professionals. This evening, we're going to be picking up where the last cohort left off. You guys are all members of a motley, which is essentially a clique in changeling society. It can be like a gang, it can be like a family, it can be like a business. Your guys have come together because you've been tasked to do jobs for the local freehold, which is what you call a collection of changeling in a particular town. And you've done really well so far. You guys should know, starting off the game before you've even rolled any dice, you've been really successful. You've recovered relics. You have bartered away some of your life essence to break a curse for some crow monsters. You've done all kinds of wonderful things for the freehold, and you're kind of building a reputation for yourself. Most recently, in the last session, you guys discovered a changeling who had just emerged from the hedge. And this can be a really vulnerable time for the lost, because quite often they are, as your ward Loon is, they're not absolutely certain that they've actually escaped, because Fae can be really cruel, and Loon's keeper ran them through scenario after scenario after scenario where they believed they had escaped, And then the keeper showed up and went, "Oh, you silly thing. No, you're still back with me." And essentially reset them. And they would go through their life with their keeper for a while, and they would think that they escaped again, only to be told once more, "No, no, no, you're still with me. Isn't this a fun game?" And it drove Loon a little bit mad. When you found him, he was convincing people to jump out in front of traffic so that it would create fear, because fear and other strong emotions are one of the things that can provide glamour for changelings. Glamour is the essential magic power that fuels all of your abilities and your face side. So you took Loon in and have been teaching him about what it is to be a changeling. He's you've got him pretty much convinced that this is reality now, although he still tends to ask at least once a day, if this is really real or not. You've given him a room in your motley apartment, and this evening, I tell you what, why don't you all roll a 10-sided dice and hold up how many fingers you got? Got a 3, got a 9, got a 3, got a 9, got a 1. Okay, so I'll have your guys' character names soon. Marlo and Ash. Adam, you also got a 9, right? Marlo and Ash, you happen to be walking past the door to Loon's room, tiny little room, but it's got, like a bed and a closet. And you realize that Loon's not in there. He hasn't left except with you guys for the 2 weeks or so since he's been out of the hedge. And his TV's on, but he doesn't appear to be there. What would you like to do?
Loon, are you here?
I'll check under the bed.
Okay. So Ash, they get down on their hands and knees and check under the bed. There's some dust bunnies in there. There's a T-shirt that one of you guys had loaned to Loon, but there's no Loon under there. You do smell in the room. There's a scent that shouldn't be there because you're in the city. It smells like fresh air and kind of the crisp wetness of leaves. And if you look over towards the closet door's open, but there's just a little bit of a shimmer over the area. You can still see into the closet, but there's just a little bit of a strange shimmer that shouldn't be there. And as you watch, it stops, and then you can see into the closet really clearly. It seems like maybe, do either one of you guys have a rating in occult at all? And that will be on your character sheet. It'll be under your skill section, under a mental skill, first page, about halfway down on the left-hand side. You have one occult?
Yep.
I have one.
And one too? Okay, wonderful. You guys are pretty sure that a gateway to the hedge has been opened in Loon's closet. You haven't taught Loon how to open gateways to hedges yet.
After you.
Let's let them know first.
That seems like
I don't start running into closets willy-nilly.
Oh, I was going to stay here, but okay.
Oh, I see how it is. Okay.
Ash was just like, tell me what you see on the other side.
I mean, I'll go first. I am not going only. That is not how this is going to work.
So Marlo, you're going to go find the rest of the motley and let them know what's going on?
Yep, and I'm cool with going in first.
Okay, so Marlo comes out of the bedroom and lets the rest of you guys know that Loon's gone. What exactly do you tell them, Marlo?
Hey, Loon's gone. Pretty sure jumped into a portal into the closet.
Ow.
Yeah,
Where-
we
where
should
did Lynn
probably
get a
do
portal?
something about that. Where does anyone get a portal? I have no idea.
So as changelings, you guys would know that basically any gateway, archway, even a reflective surface like a full-size mirror can be turned into a gateway to the hedge by putting your hand on it and spending a point of glamour and either knocking or telling it to open. You know, you can do the open sesame thing or make an elaborate ritual, but really it's just a request, a touch, and spending glamour. In general, they kind of frown on opening too many of them because a gateway that has been opened can then be reopened by something else, and gateways work both ways. So you now have a gateway to the hedge in your spare bedroom closet.
Yeah, so we should do something about that.
Yeah.
I just shut the door.
You definitely can shut the door. You can shut the door. So now you have a closed closet door and no lane.
And fixed.
Don't worry, guys, Ash solved it.
Ash is like, get some nails, get a hammer. Who needed lane anyway?
So the game's over.
So this
I,
is
I hope nobody needed anything that was in there.
so
I
seriously though, we could be jumping into this hedge. We could go over the hedge. No, no
I
one.
mean, we've all
There you go,
already
yeah.
done
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Got it.
I could ask the air what happened.
Oh, that's a very good idea. That's a good idea. Would you like to do that?
Sure. I
Okay.
would love to hang up a string with a bell at the end for the wind to buff around while I ask it what happens.
Oh, that's delightful. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to use, you're playing Raz, and they have an ability.
Called Primordial Voice.
Primordial Voice. Fantastic. So the way that we're going to look at, so contracts, which are your spells, your supernatural powers that Changeling have, are listed on your back sheet. So when we look at these, it'll have the name of the contract. It'll give a general description of what it does, the cost, the dice pool that you're going to roll in an attempt to activate it, the action. It's instant action is basically the action that you take for that turn. Some of them are reflexive or contested, but for the most part, most of the ones you guys have, I think, are instant. Now there's the catch, and the catch is kind of interesting. Kitty. The catch is if you can complete what the catch says, you don't have to spend the glamour for it. So it's kind of like a free ticket. So in this case, Primordial Voice, make an offering to the element, which you did. So you don't have to spend the glamour for it. And then you're going to roll your socialize plus your weird. Your socialize is a social skill. And then your weird is basically how powerful you are as a fae. You guys are all pretty new, so your weirds are all one. And if you needed to find that, that'd be at the top of your second page of your character sheet. So, Raz, what is the pool for your socialize plus weird?
3.
3. Okay, so you're
Yeah.
going to roll 3 10-sided dice.
Okay.
And then a success in Changeling is an 8, 9, or a 10. So, and 10s explode, which means that if you get a 10, not only does it count as a success, but you get to roll that one die again to see if you can get another success. And if you get another 10, you get to continue rolling until you no longer get 10s.
Great. I got no successes.
You got no successes. See what happens when the door gets shut? The wind just doesn't move around like it used to.
The air is just surprised.
Yeah.
Disappointed. It's staring at you with its like stillness, just judging you.
Yeah.
All right, fine. I'll open the door. I'll go back in the closet. Fine.
So,
Second one. There you go.
got it. Okay, fantastic. So, so what you ask the wind, the air in this area?
Did Lane open the gate?
Loon
Open.
talk to something, someone in closet. Touch door, open door, then went.
You didn't see what it was
Mm,
who it was that he talked to? Or
branches?
branches?
Brambles?
Okay.
Darkness.
Darkness.
Brambles, darkness.
Did
High
you-
voice.
High voice. Would I be able, so the branches, the darkness, we'll do this for out of character. Branches and darkness definitely denotes hedge.
Definitely
think-
feels like that, yeah.
Would I know if high voice denoted a true fae or a certain kind of?
Not necessarily. True fae can come in basically any form: masculine, feminine, animal, robotic. They could literally be anything. They're kind of the source of imagination, or maybe they're inspired. They inspired different folklores, so they
Okay.
can be just about anything.
Okay. Did you hear what they said?
Said, coming for you. Said, come with me.
And then
Went.
went.
There was a whoosh, best whoosh in this whole room for days. The air was so nice, so sweet.
Fresh, magical, maybe.
Open the window.
Okay. Can't do that. I'm gonna open the window.
The air in this room is very happy now.
Good. Good. It does smell a little bit like Beast in person. I don't know. I will pass that on, I guess, to everybody, that there was someone with a high-pitched voice who may have threatened our new friend. And our new friend decided to go with them into the hedge.
Did the air say how long ago this happened?
In the last 24 hours.
And you guys saw the shimmer, which means it wasn't long. The gateway will remain open for about one turn per level of weird, so Fey strength, of the person that opened it. And you guys know that Lane was pretty new, so if he's the one who opened it, you guys probably came in just a minute or so after they went through. If someone else opened it, it could be longer, but it's not going to be hours for you to have still seen some evidence of the gateway being opened. It'd be minutes.
Well, couldn't have gone far.
Right. I'm thinking if, they've just gone in, potentially, if we're kind of losing daylight on being able to track them down, maybe. And it'll be an
Yeah.
excuse to fly, and I like to fly.
I will follow quietly and hopefully unnoticed.
So would someone like to open the gateway?
I'll go.
Okay, so Marlo, what you're going to need to do is you're probably going to have to open the door first.
Mm-hmm.
And
Tear some
then,
nails out.
yeah, touch it, spend a point of glamour, and request or demand it open, however seems appropriate for your character.
All right, let's do this. Open up, you wooden punk.
So there is a shimmering that happens in the doorway, and for a moment you can see the contents of the closet behind it, but then that fades, and what you see is a nighttime, basically outdoor scene. I don't know if any of you have been around Pacific Northwest blackberries, where they can grow 10, 12 feet tall easily and take over an entire area. There is maybe the size of a front porch clearing right outside the door, and like a tiny little deer track going through the brambles, but the brambles are close enough, and this gateway has not been traveled enough to broaden it out to the point where if you, it looks like if you stepped in there, you'd be able to go, but they'd probably snag on your clothing a little bit as you went through and that sort of thing. It's a very, very narrow track.
Any volunteers?
If I go ahead, Adam.
I was gonna say, can I use primordial voice and talk to the plants?
Of course you can. Well, you can at least try.
Ah,
Let's pull that up. Okay, so primordial voice. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is related element, and you are a wood blood elemental, so you're all dryad-ish. So what you're going to roll is your, would you like to activate the catch by making an offering to the plants in this area?
Sure. I have a water bottle with me. I'll sprinkle some water around.
Good plan. Good plan. Okay, fantastic. So you're going to roll socialize plus weird, and let me know how many successes you get.
What does that mean again?
Okay, so no, you're fine. What you're going to do is your socialize is a social skill. It'll be on the first page of your character sheet on the right-hand side near the bottom.
I see. Okay.
Okay, so you have 1 dot in that, and then your weird is at the top of your second page, and you have 1 dot in that. So you have a dice pool of 2, and you're going to roll those and tell me how many dice come up 8, 9, or 10.
1 8 and 1 9.
Fantastic. You have 2 successes. You did real well. So you can, much like Raz was able to talk to the air, you can talk to the brambles in the hedge here, just on the other side of the gateway. What would you like to talk to them about?
Hey, Bramble. Did you see a wee figure walk by here recently?
Yes. 2.
Ooh. Can you
One
describe
more.
them to me?
Neither one of them were plants. Are you looking for something more specific?
Which direction did they go?
Down that little path.
Do you guys have any questions you want me to ask?
Was he ensorcelled?
Was he ensorcelled?
Well, I don't understand.
Oh, I don't know. Be
Have
rich.
dilated pupils and look kind of whacked out.
His eyes, the smaller one, his eyes were white. You guys would know that as a moonborn, Loon had eyes that looked like the surface of the moon with no irises.
The one with the white eyes, did he look like he was going willingly?
Yes, he followed.
Not creepy at all.
Did they say anything like names?
Did they say any names? Oh, I guess you can ask. I'm sorry.
No, not humans have strange names, but no, just a lot of hurry. Come along, and it's dark. Ah!
Good to know.
Was the second figure, were they tall, small?
Tall.
Large.
Taller. Not as
Tall.
tall as me. Not as tall as trees. Hmm, taller than a shrub.
Taller than me?
Hmm. 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 Little. Little. Little taller.
Well, thank you.
Their skin was much nicer than yours. It was green.
Mm. Well, I thank you for your help.
Actually, I forgot you're a woodblood. Your skin might be green too.
Oh.
Have you have you thought about what ash might look like?
I hadn't until now, so internal panic, but
No, it's fine. No pressure. The brambles would be like sibling. They were not one of us, but mm, green. How else can I help you, sibling?
anybody have any thoughts before I?
Can I have permission and grab some, vine or other sort of plant rope like stuff?
There is definitely a plethora of viney, bramble, ropey, plant-like matter. As soon as you step through the gateway, basically everything beyond like your arm's reach is bramble. So
Well,
yeah,
I will ask for permission.
yes,
Consent.
yes, yes. This one is polite, sibling, and a piece of vine that is a little frayed at one end kind of drops off and falls at your feet, and it's probably like 6-8 feet worth of pretty good sized vine with thorns along it and leaves along it.
Nice. I just kind of curl it up like a rope throw over my shoulder.
Is there more I can do for you, sibling?
We're good, thank you.
And then the vines kind of move away just a little bit, just like kind of making enough room for you to all pass through if you'd like to pass through. Thank you for the
Exciting.
water.
Kind of want to see if there are any birds around hanging around, maybe some eyes in the sky that might have spotted some movement, or let's
You're
talk to
probably
some
going to need
birds.
to actually go through the gateway and into the hedge in order to see anything. Right now, everything is, I mean, you can see overhead like little patches of night sky, but even that is kind of, roofed by brambles and that kind of thing. They're not actually growing over like a tunnel, but they're definitely coming pretty close to covering the path.
Okay.
I'm going to put on my shoes before walking into the grass, just as a note to say I've been barefoot.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so Sky, you were wanting to try to find some birds, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there are none right here, but if you would like to go a bit forward, you might be able to find a place where there was a little bit more clearing where you might be able to hear or see some night birds.
I think I would like to. We always benefit from extra sets of eyes. I'll go forward and see if I see any bird friends.
Is anybody not going through the gateway? Not following Sky? Okay, well, I'm just going to assume you're all going forward a little bit.
Mhm.
The path is, you kind of have to walk like single file. It's not enough space even for two of you to walk side by side in it. You can hear some night birds in the trees up ahead. And they're very, very weird sounding. If you've ever heard like a screech owl at night, these are not like pretty little songbird kind of sounds. They're more like, screechy, warbling kind of disturbing sounds. Let's see. Why don't you guys all? I'm going to have you roll a perception check, and that is going to be your wits plus your composure. Both of those are attributes, so they'll be kind of in the middle of your front page. And then just point out how many successes you guys get.
So it's that many dice.
Yes, that many dice. And if you have any thing in your blessings or your talents that are like affect things that affect scores with wit, affect scores with perception, affect scores with composure, just feel free to do whatever it says to do with that, whether that's add an extra dice or get a like. So you'll find sometimes they'll say like 8 again or 9 again, and that means that 8s and 9s explode like 10s do. So that can be very powerful, usually in a very niche setting. Fantastic. Okay. Sky, did you get any successes?
2 successes.
2 successes. Okay. Did anybody not get any successes? Okay. So ahead of you, up in a tree, again, you're still like working your way through this deer track kind of thing. There is what appears to be like a mostly dead tree sticking out of this batch of briars, and the vines themselves have worked their way all up into the upper branches. But you can see that there's like almost a keyhole shaped opening that's really, really dark. And there are 3 eyes kind of gleaming out at you. And if you stand still and listen for a moment, there definitely one of those screechy noises is definitely coming from that hollow.
I'll screech back.
You're either going to make friends or terrify them.
Y'all. How y'all doing, fam?
Oh,
Fantastic. Okay.
May I trouble you?
Would you like to activate your contract that'll actually let you talk with them?
Yes, please.
Okay, fantastic. So that's tongues of birds and words of wolves. You have your catch is to give the animal a new name. Would you like to try and name the animal?
Sure. I will name this bird Holmes.
Oh, it's delightful. Okay.
Spurlock Holmes.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, fantastic. So roll me your weird plus your animal can. You guys will notice on the skill section, some of your skills will have parentheses with a word written in it or a couple of words. Those are your specialties. So if you're rolling a skill, like in this case, animal can, and you have the specialty birds after it, and that specialty applies to the given situation, it counts as 1 extra die for your die pool. So go ahead and add your animal kin plus your weird plus 1 for your birds.
Okay. And I have 3 successes, and all 3 successes are 8, so I can 8 again on rolls using animal kin.
Fantastic. Okay, go ahead.
1 more 8.
Fantastic.
And a 7. So
Okay,
that
so you got 4 successes altogether?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. Holmes looks kind of surprised. You can see the 3 eyes kind of shake their head and lean forward like they're observing you.
Do they all move together?
Mhm.
As if they're attached to the same body?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It looks, and they're in a triangle like this, so it looks like you would imagine that it looks like 2 eyes and a chakra eye.
Okay. Holmes, how are you doing?
Who are you?
You. I'm Sky. We're looking for our friend Loon. We know they came through the hedge. We know someone either coerced them or got them through. But we're looking for them. We kind of don't know where they're going. I wonder if you've seen any movement in any particular direction or anybody fitting
There were
Loon's.
2.
2. Yes.
2 came through.
Yes.
2 before you.
Correct.
2.
Do you know
But who?
in
Ooh.
Two?
which direction? Maybe that way.
Through.
Yes, through.
Through.
But this way or this way or
The,
that way?
the bird takes flight, and as it leaps out of the nesting hole, its wings spread out silently over the pathway. It's got 4 wings, 2 on each side, kind of like a butterfly, except they're very definitely shaped like an owl's wings. Big, 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 snowy white. And it circles around over your head and proceeds down the path.
I am going to point to my friend Holmes to everybody and say, okay, I think they're showing us the way that they went. Do you guys want to come with?
Go.
All right.
Good.
So Holmes kind of does this like low, lazy sweep over you that kind of leads you forward down the pathway that you had been before. And this pathway then opens out onto a trod. And a trod is a pathway through the hedge that's been used enough or had enough effort and concentration invested into it that it becomes, if not permanent, at least much closer to permanent than the path that you're walking on. You know that a path like this one, a little one, if you came back tomorrow, it might not be here unless you really put some effort or some traffic back and forth on it. It's just, things can change that fast in the hedge. So it circles forward and kind of leads you down to like a T-stop where this deer track that you're on merges with a much, much bigger path. This one is big enough that 2 or 3 of you could probably walk shoulder to shoulder in it. It's even got, you can see down where the grasses have been worn away. There might even be some cobblestones here and there along the track. And Holmes circles and lands in another dead tree that's got a big branch sticking out of it, and looks down at you.
So for my Kith talent, I can spend a point of glamour to glide in the air for 1 minute at normal speed.
Ooh,
So I think I want to use one of my glamour points to fly up where Holmes is.
okay.
How to get the bird's eye view.
Sure, no problem. Just mark it down that you spent that point of glamour, and you kind of, you using your influence or your effort, you can basically, you kind of climb the tree, but you're really just kind of grabbing it to pull you up. And once you get up there, the branch is broad enough that you can step onto it, you know, just like a kind of like a balance beam, basically. And Holmes he seems a little confused, but not overly concerned that you're doing this. He kind of shuffles aside on his little owl feet to make space for you.
I'll just get by. Excuse me. Okay. So do I see anything more than now that I'm up there and kind of looking around at anything?
So the trod extends in both directions. It curves off to the right. It maybe, I don't know, like a half a football field or so away. It goes around a corner, and so you can't see any further. To the left, it continues on, and you can see what looks like a big stone pillar. And then the road kind of curves, but beyond the curve, you can see some sort of glow. You really can't tell what it is right now because the path curves and blocks direct view. But there's some sort of a, yellowish, whitish glow coming from, maybe a football field away or so.
Is it a solid glow or is it a glow that kind of dances?
It's a solid glow. It's not dancing like a bonfire or something like that.
Okay. I will relay that to everybody. Hey, I saw this other glow thing over here. It looks kind of weird. Seems kind of unnatural. Not sure what to think about that.
Well, I say we check it out. Marlo said I'll go first.
Okay.
Running toward the glow.
Fantastic. So
Here
as
we
you
go.
I'm gonna
As you-
hang out in the back.
hang out in the back, you
Just in
guys
case.
got this. So as you start going down that direction, Holmes, hoots his essentially goodbyes and leaps up into the air and heads off back towards his tree. And as you get closer, you can see that the stone column that was sitting there is a signpost, and there's a sign attached to it that, if you get close enough to read, says Faraday Goblin Market, and has an arrow kind of going down the road again, not the way you came from, but continuing in the direction that you were.
I didn't realize you could sell goblins. That seems kind of bad.
You could sell almost anything in the hedge.
Oh,
Who among us was not bought or sold?
right. What moves in the hedge? What's moving?
Well, we got a goblin market. Thoughts?
Would you guys all give me a perception check? That's wits plus composure, please. Two. None. Oh, three. Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Wait. I want to make sure I'm doing this right. So
That's okay. So how many points do you have? Let's see. Adam, you're playing Ash. Okay, so your wits is 2 and your composure is 3. So you roll 5 dice and tell me how many of them are 8s, 9s, or 10s.
Oh, so I rolled 5 dice.
Yep.
That's why I got confused. Sorry.
That's okay. No, it's fine. It takes a little while to get the hang of it.
And so as long as I roll that number or above, I'm good.
8, 9, or 10
8, 9, oh, 8, 9, or 10.
are a
Sorry.
success. Yeah. And 10s explode.
Sure.
So you get to roll them again. So you got 2. Fantastic. So all of you would notice here where the road kind of widens a little bit with the signpost. There is definitely a shoe print. Looks like a sneaker going in the direction that you guys are heading. And Aaron, you would notice that very, very faintly, like if it hadn't caught the glint of starlight exactly right, you would have completely missed it. There is, in the same area, what appears to be like a stiletto print, just like the tiny little thing and the little mark from the heel. Would have missed it if you blinked.
Really impressed by whoever's leading him being able to walk in stilettos
In the
secretly in the hedge. And I would like to cast Never Tread.
Ah, very
in
nice.
response.
Very nice. Okay, let us see here. So what is your pool for Never Tread?
Intelligence plus weird, that's just going to be 4. That's going to be 1 success. Now, since we've already pulled in Kith talents or seeming blessings, I want to ask, would this, I guess, be a scenario where I could spend 1 glamour to add, oh, that's weird to health or weird to speed. Never mind, I can't do anything.
You can always spend a point of glamour to add an extra die to your die pool. It's not something that people do all the time because glamour is a finite pool. And in order to recover it, you've got to either basically harvest human emotions or eat goblin fruit. You can look for goblin fruit in the hedge, which are these strange little strange little items that when you consume them, some of them have other effects as well, but almost all of them will give you back a point of glamour.
So you can also my 1.
Okay.
Success.
You got 1 success? Fantastic. and you're doing never tread. So you will, you will not leave any footprints behind you. And if you look back, the pathway that you came before, you can see all these guys' footprints, but yours are gone.
Secrets. Yes. Safe. Anyway, it's Lane and a healed person. So they came this way, I'm guessing, unless goblins have sneakers now. Or stilettos, which my thought is might be smart because hiding in plain sight in a really busy market, unless there's another path that breaks. Anyway, look for footprints, I guess, where I'm going.
Okay, so the sneaker prints that you guys recognize as probably belonging to Lane, they seem about the right size and shape. Go off in the direction that the sign is pointing to the Faraday Market. Would you like to continue along that path? And is there anything you'd like to do before you continue?
How does one look for goblin fruit?
How does one look for goblin fruit? That is a very good question. I am going to check that out real quick because I know that there's a mechanic. I just don't have it memorized. Yeah, 225. $225. Carrying goblin fruits, hedge deals, finding goblin fruits. Oh, goodness sakes. Well, I can't find the information immediately, so I am just going to make a judgment call, and we're going to have you do a, let's see, let's do, seems like wits would be a good attribute for this, and how about occult?
Okay.
So if anyone who would like to search for goblin fruits in this area before proceeding can roll a wits plus occult and let me know how many scores you got. Okay, you find something and you're like, oh, look, it kind of looks like a strawberry, except kind of more like purple blackberry colored. But when you go down to reach for it, it squeaks and runs away.
Been a while since I've been here. Can't identify fruits, I guess. It's totally changing. I'm gonna pull up like a hood and hide a little bit.
To do that. Totally. Did you guys see that hedge mouse?
That was so cool.
Yeah,
so cool.
I meant to do that. Okay, so if no one else is going to try to find hedge fruit, then you guys can go ahead and proceed down the pathway.
I can do this thing called verdant embrace while outdoors or around a lot of plants. I can make nature aid me.
Nice.
Could I have the branches kind of weave together in a netty, baskety way and scoop up some of these fruit?
Well, the problem is that finding a goblin fruit is kind of a scavenger hunt in and of itself.
Okay.
It's really like you would be doing the equivalent of basically like wide casting the net and catching dolphins looking for shrimp.
Fair. Okay.
But good thought. Very
Hey.
good thought. So as you continue down the road, the light that you saw earlier gets brighter and brighter, and eventually you will come up to a curve, and there is a large stone archway. On top of the arch, it completely scales the path, and ahead of it, through it, you can see what looks like the most bizarre farmers market you've ever seen. There are some stalls that are obviously very temporary. Some of them are literally nothing more than a blanket on the ground with someone selling their goods off of it. Some of them look like 10 by 10 tents that have basically just kind of been stuck up for the time being. But some of them have like there are some that are like stone huts with a little counter kind of area open in front of it, some windows that open up and that kind of thing. There's some really weird things too, though. There is definitely what looks like a teepee on one edge of the farmer's market. And you're pretty sure that behind one of the temporary encasements, you see like a 1967 Volkswagen van, just kind of tucked out and into to a corner, and it has racks and racks and racks of clothing outside of it. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and there are, even in the middle of the night, there are the illumination is coming from strands of lights that are looped around, kind of hanging haphazardly in every different direction. Some of them look like they're powered by electricity. Some of them look like they're little hanging candle lanterns. Some of them look like they're like really big lightning bugs, like about the size of a softball, gripping onto wires as they go. And the customers and merchants here are just as diverse. You see some people that look like they're probably changelings. You would know that you guys can see each other's true visage. So, for example, Aaron, you are sorry, Raz, you are a elemental air touch. So you, when other changelings look at you, they may see that you look a little on the translucent side. Maybe your hair always looks like it's kind of wisping in a breeze that nobody else sees. Squash, you're an ogre farwalker. You might look a little bit like a yeti or that kind of thing. You're an ogre, so you're big and strong, probably taller than most humans are. But farwalkers tend to kind of be covered in either long hair or sometimes almost like ghillie suit kind of things to break up their silhouette compared to the outer areas around them, the outside areas around them. And you see these kinds of visages on other individuals as well, both merchants and customers, but you also see some of the most bizarre things that you've ever seen. You definitely recognize there's a booth that says, "You know, we go." And the person that is behind the counter, the walls of that booth appear to be covered in maps and scrolls and globes and other sorts of navigational equipment. And the person that's behind that counter is about maybe 4.5 feet tall, and has 4 arms. They're wearing like a little vest that opens up on both sides. And they've got 4 arms, 2 on each side. There is a brewer's cart that basically looks like it's about the size to be pulled by a small pony. And it's got all kinds of different bottles and distilling equipment and that kind of thing. It says Chrysanthemum's Brews. And there is a very large, like pony size Shih Tzu that is sitting next to their cart, and it's purple. Let's see what else. Yeah, so there's all kinds of different things. Is there something in particular that you'd like to take a closer look at? In this area, the footprints have basically become obscured because there's so many other creatures and people going back and forth across all the pathways.
I don't want
Very
to like.
bizarre.
You would know, because you were played by other people in other cohorts, you would know that you've had positive interactions with Wego. He's led you, he specializes in navigating through the hedge, and he's led you on a couple different adventures through the hedge. You've met Chrysanthemum, although not really had the chance to talk with them. They helped deliver some goblin fruit for you a couple of sessions ago. And you've also had some positive interactions with an information merchant by the name of Melusine, who you recovered a locket for and discovered that she had been in a wheelchair. And when you recovered the locket for her, you discovered that it allowed her to take human legs and walk for a short time. And she's very grateful to you for acquiring that for her.
Is she here?
She is. Her booth is one of the permanent ones. Her home is behind it. And it's one of the only ones that looks like a completely empty merchant's booth, because it's got all the shelves and everything, but no goods to be seen.
I'd like to socialize with her. Use.
You guys want to go check out Melissa's place?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So you approach. It's got an open front, so you can walk right in. And Melusine, when she hears people come out, she wheels her wheelchair out into the thing, and she goes from, "How can I help? Oh, it's you! Oh, how wonderful to see you again! How have you been? Thank you again. How are you?
We're doing great.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
We might have lost somebody though, and so
Well,
since
that's
you're
a strange definition of great.
okay, they may have willingly chosen to separate from us.
Willingly chosen to separate. That sounds like a story. I would love to hear more.
I'd love to have answers. If you want to help me get those answers, I was hoping you may have
I tell you
seen
what,
two people.
you tell me what you know, and if there's anything I know about it, I will give you a very good price on the information.
Okay. I know stilettos, high pitched voice, beast, kith, or seeming. Is it kith or seeming?
Seeming.
Seeming.
Okay, beast, seeming, the moon eyes, and I probably described Lane, and they were.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh. So you, I see. So you're looking for information about where the moon-eyed one and the beast woman went.
Yes. I don't know if she's a beast woman. She's a stiletto person, probably a woman. If she's a beast woman, I'll take that as information. Haha, you gave it.
The first one's always free, my dear. I see.
Dang it.
I see. I may know something. I tell you what. How about for, and she looks at Sky, one of her feathers. I'll give you a piece of information about this.
Well, that's no biggie. I shed those all the time. I do a little ruffle, and one falls out, and I hand it to her.
Oh, lovely, my dear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I saw a moon-eyed individual. I cannot guarantee that it was your moon-eyed individual, but they don't come through here very often. Moving through the market at a very quick rate of speed, not quite running, but almost, accompanied by a tall, slim woman with kind of reptilian features. And I believe that she was wearing awkwardly high heels, although she did move very well in them.
Yeah, we couldn't track her footprints very easily, so she's a very light-footed woman.
That often happens when you don't want to be followed.
She's good. So you said that way?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, dang it. I would like to try to bargain with her of like
Oh.
how our friendship and this feather could amount to a direction. Because if anything, I can promise a future resolution to this story.
Oh, that sounds delightful. I would be willing to exchange that. That sounds like a very fair bargain.
I'll meet you
So-
later to tell the story then.
Oh, delightful, delightful. We'll have tea. So when I saw them last, they were passing that direction, and she points to the opposite end of the market from where you guys came in. They went through the archway, but they didn't open the gateway. There is both of the archways. There's one that brackets each end of the goblin market, and they're known to be gateways that can be opened up into other locations, but they didn't pass through. Just went along the path, and I couldn't see where they went past that because, well, I was here.
You have to work. I understand.
Have to. Love it. Is there anything else that I can interest you in? Any other, I mean, have you lost your companion? I suppose you're probably in a hurry, but
I
is there
promised you that story later.
Indeed, indeed you did. And you guys would know that one of the things that binds Changeling Society together is something called the pledge, and it's basically a supernaturally sworn promise. We'll just do like little, okay, we did this. But they're the way that motleys can trust each other. They're the way that bargaining is often done. They're used for just basically everything in Changeling Society where you're wanting to be able to trust the other individual. And they can provide you with supernatural benefits, like your motley will allow you to be stronger together than you were separately, and basically ensures that if one of you turns their back or harms the other one intentionally, that that person that did the harm will get a very strong like karmic backlash from it. So she's quite content to have made the promise with you that you will come back and tell her about your adventure when you're done. Is there anything else?
I believe our friend was also looking for some goblin fruit. You wouldn't happen to know where we could procure some of that, would you?
Oh goodness. Well, there are multiple different merchants here in the market who specialize in goblin fruit or products made from goblin fruit. If you're looking for the raw fruit, that would be one thing. If you're looking for it prepared or preserved so that it won't go bad on you for a longer use, that would be a different area. Do you know
We get some
which?
goblin fruit marmalade or something. That sounds nice. Does it have the same
Wonderful.
function as consuming just goblin fruit?
Oh, yes, yes. But it
Excellent.
lasts much longer, so you don't have
Oh,
to worry
good.
about it going bad on you or squishing in your pocket or that sort of thing. I tell you what, for one more feather, I'd be happy to point you to the right person.
I'm still nice and feathered, so I'll ruffle a bit and see which one's loose, and I'll hold that one out to you.
Oh, delightful. Now she has the two, and she's like, that's wonderful. And she points across the way to Chrysanthemum's brewery and says, Chrysanthemum is well known to be one of the finest purveyors of goblin fruit wine, goblin fruit preserves. I believe they even have a special on some sort of effervescent fermented liquid made out of goblin fruit going on right now. You can tell
Goblin
them
fruit kombucha.
goblin fruit kombucha. That's exactly what
Goblin lambic would be nice this time of year.
lambic.
Okay, well.
So she points across the way to the very large Shih Tzu.
That's not alarming. I wouldn't mind going to get some goblin fruit. If anybody else wants to go as well.
She had me at wine. So
I know.
Delightful. Well, as you, is anyone else need to do anything with Melusine before you leave? No. Okay. So you go across the way, and as Chrysanthemum's purple fur is fringed down in front of their eyes. But as you start walking and it becomes obvious that you're walking towards their cart, their tail begins beating on the ground very excitedly. And when you approach, they like tilt their head. There's a sign with these are today's specials, but there's no pricing on it. There's a fermented goblin fruit. There's a preserved goblin fruit. There's some specific named goblin fruits if you're interested in ones that have like special effects or that kind of thing. Although you would know that those are probably going to be more expensive than the common goblin fruit are because they're more rare.
So I guess I will talk to Chrysanthemum and ask them about various preserved goblin fruit preparations. And hello. Tell me about your goblin fruits. Do you barter?
Best.
The best?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Barter. Yes.
What are you looking for to trade for something that's goblin fruit?
What do you have? Memories? Dreams? Tears? Goblin fruit?
I have some memories.
Memories are tasty.
Memories. Okay.
Well, would you like? I will trade you this, and they nose sealed, like it looks like a ceramic mason jar, like a little tiny pickle jar with a bale lid on the top of it. So you'd have to pop the bale off to take the cap off, and they kind of nudge it down the shelf a little bit towards you. This is 3 servings of goblin fruit preserve. I will take the memory of and Chrysanthemum kind of looks you up and down, sniffs your direction a little bit. The first time you flew.
Oh, okay. I can offer you that, I think. So
you would know that you literally can barter away that memory and you will not have that memory anymore. So it's not like them telling it's not like them telling you a story. Or you telling them a story. You will have a blank spot in your memory where that comes from.
Oh wow. Okay. I'm pretty confident I'll get lots of more memories of flying again, and I have lots of them. I think I can trade that first memory with you.
And they basically make a small pledge with you that just specifically states that you are giving them that memory in exchange for this container of goblin fruit. And the pledge activates. Suddenly, you can remember that you like learned how to fly, but you're just not real sure about it's kind of like if you've ever had a tooth pulled and you've got this absent place, but your tongue keeps kind of trying to go to it. It's like that, except it's like your feathers that kind of try and go to it. And she's
interesting.
Like, Chrysanthemum's like, and nudges the bottle to you.
Thank you. I hope you enjoy that memory.
We will trade well.
Thank you.
Goblins are trading NTF. For some fruit.
You've heard of Dogecoin. This is like
I know.
Chrysanthemum coin.
And I'm sitting here questioning, am I going to regret trading this first memory? Now is my flying just only muscle memory and I'm not going to be able to think of the way in which to do it?
It's fine. Just trade the memory of the trade.
There we go.
And Chrysanthemum kind of looks at the rest of you like,
I think she wants you guys to buy something. Y'all got lots of membered stuff, don't you?
Sure, I'll get some of that weird kombucha.
Okay. And she
The fizzy stuff.
looks around. She points. There's a with her nose. There's a a growler bottle, except it's only about yay big. Looks like it's
Mhm.
enough to hold a cup or two worth of kombucha.
Mhm.
Fizzy, what you trade?
What can I trade? The memory of the best thing I ever made for somebody.
Oh, you make things?
I have.
You don't smell like maker. You smell like fighter.
Yeah, I put a lot of work into that.
You trade memory of first kill.
Sure. Take it.
And you guys enact a little pledge, and sure enough, that first kill, that time when you ran out onto the battlefield and left your repair work behind because the fight had almost come to you and you saved the day, you could remember running out there and you could remember being lauded as that hero, but you just can't remember exactly why. Like, you're sure you did something cool, but there's just that hole there now. And she nudges the growler towards you.
Pick it up, and I just mutter to myself, I'll get another one.
You barter a lot of memories.
Memories, good trade.
I have an out of game question.
Yeah, of course.
So part of my backstory is that I've traded so many memories that I've lost a lot of memories, and I'm trying to find the hobgoblin that owns my bartered memories.
I remember that now.
All right. Is it you? I haven't know how to ask that. How many memories have you bartered?
Many. Many. Sometimes other things, sometimes feathers. She looks at Sky. Sometimes tears, sometimes work, sometimes time, sometimes things. Things are harder to pack than memories, though. Memories travel very light.
Have you ever traded for memories of plants or information about plants?
Other than plants that make brews, I don't know much about plants. I know about goblin fruit, but mostly just the ones that are good to eat or drink.
Is there anybody in the market that has traded a lot of information about plants?
I don't know. Melusine trades lots of information.
Okay.
You seem to collect a lot of memories.
Are you wanting to buy a memory?
Trying to
buy, trade,
reclaim
ones you traded?
Yeah, some of yours.
Mine?
Repossess.
Repossess.
Yes.
Memory for a memory.
What I need my memories. I need to remember how to make things.
I'm sure you don't need all of them. We certainly didn't.
Can trade. What you want?
Do you know whose memories you have? Is it like how I know whose secrets I have?
They taste like that person?
Do you have any that taste like him?
Like, he looks at Marlo. Like him?
I'm sorry, I forgot who you're playing, Adam.
Oh, Ash. Ash, like them?
Yeah, like them.
She sniffs at Ash. she pads around to the back of her cart, just like nosing through something. And she grabs a little twig. She comes out and just, the twig is like this big. It's like a straw in the mouth of this giant Shih Tzu. She sits it down on the shelf, sniffs at it, sniffs back at Ash. Smell like tree. Is yours?
I don't know what to do.
You could she like nudges it towards you. Touch. See if yours.
All right, I pick it up and look at it.
Okay. You concentrate on it and you get a glimpse of your high school prom. And you can see like the balloon arch that they made everyone take pictures under, and it's like, you know, pink and white, and it's like sunset nights is like the theme of really badly construction paper banner behind it and that kind of thing. And
I do a photo.
you get the feeling like you're there and you know you're posing for the picture to be taken, and there's someone beside you, but when you turn your head to see who it is, the memory ends. Is yours?
I think so. I think this is me.
Do you want it?
No, I think I'm good.
Wow. She carries it off in her mouth back to her cart.
Thanks, Raz.
I have a secret now. I know where your memory is.
Love the secrets. Okay, would you guys like to do anything else here in the market?
I say we go look for Lane.
Mhm.
Yeah, time's a wasting.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so at the opposite end of the Goblin Market, there's a large stone archway similar to the one that you came through. This one's different slightly. Up on top of it, there is a skull. Looks of a vaguely insectoid creature. It's about probably yay big. I mean, the creature must have been good sized. And perched on top of it, like a hat, is what appears to be an upside down Tibetan singing bowl. But if you head that direction, the trod goes right through the center of the market and off into the hedge. There's the way is illuminated slightly past the gateway by the lights and the ambient light from the market, even though it's still full on night. But once you get a stone's throw outside of the gateway, it's pretty much just, you know, stars and briars, and then the trod passing through.
Should we run back and get a light?
That
'Cause
sounds
it's
like a
dark
really
out.
good idea.
Especially if we're trying to track footprints. I would like to run back and see if I can
Okay, you can
find,
actually
trade, barter, buy a light.
Well, wait
Actually-
here.
right outside the gateway, there are wires
Mhm.
coming down, and one of the wires is one of the ones that has the large firefly insect looking creature clinging to it. You figured that one, you probably, I mean, as long as you're discreet about it, you could probably get away with taking one of them.
Yeah, I will try to sneakily capture one.
Okay, it doesn't say anything, or you know, it scuttles a little bit when you're trying to pick it up as large insect would. It's, it's probably softball sized or so, but when it transfers its grip from the wire to your hand, it's just clinging to you with little like insectoid pinchers. They don't hurt or anything, but they do feel kind of weird scrambling on your skin. And it's enough to, kind of essentially act as a low light flashlight. It's not like one of the mag lights, but it'll illuminate a path around, 10-foot circle or so around you guys.
All right. Enough to cast a shadow. Cool. All right. Let's get going.
Okay, so you're heading down this trod. Would you like to look and see if you can catch a trail, or are you just going to assume for now that the trod is the right direction? How would you like to proceed?
Maybe look for a trail.
I've got a contract called Pathfinder.
Oh, nice.
It says locate hollows, trods, paths to and from Arcadia, and other details of the hedge nearby. For each success, learn one pertinent fact about the local hedge within line of sight.
And Squash pipes up with the win. Fantastic. Okay, so that is going to be a. Would you like to activate the catch, or would you like to spend the glamour? You want to activate the catch?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you go about doing that? What does that look like to the other people who are watching you?
He, I imagine, just like reaches out to the hedge and finds a thorn, and they probably don't see the thorn necessarily. They probably just see him like grab something off of the hedge and hold it very tightly.
Okay.
And like move his fingers around a little bit like this, and then when he opens his hand, it's a little bit bloody.
Nice. Yeah, there are no shortage of thorns in the hedge. Fantastic. So you feel it's like a killer rose thorn. It's just, how they have that sharp little like hook at the end, and it just kind of stings in your skin after you've plucked yourself with it. And then go ahead and roll me your intelligence plus weird. So however many die you have for intelligence plus your weird, and do you have anything? Strength, Power, Intimidate.
Okay.
Stealth and Survival. Okay. And then
one success.
One success? Fantastic. Yeah. And it wasn't a 10, right?
No, it's not.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay. So you can get one pertinent fact about the local edge within the line of sight. What would you like to find?
I mean, ideally, it's any kind of indication of the two people. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. What that
definitely.
Exactly.
Sure. So you're concentrating. You're like, okay, I know the hedge. I know this area. I'm just going to look for anything that is out of place that would seem to indicate that two people had gone through here. And you're kind of pacing around, the perimeter of the light that's glowing. And you step just like one step out of the glow, and just there's a clearing up above you that just like this beam of starlight just happens to hit an area that is a little bit muddy on the path, and you can see just the impression with just this faintest sheen of water that is filled up into the shoe print, and you're like, whoa, shoe, got it, okay. And then when you lean in closer, you definitely can see that there is you can't actually even see the front part of the stiletto, but you definitely see the little half circle shape that is the indent of where somebody in a stiletto stepped extra hard on their heel right in this area because the ground was really wet. And it's definitely going down the trod.
Okay. All right, I found the stiletto heel, y'all. We're going this way.
That was cool.
Yeah.
What do I need this bug for?
Fantastic. Okay, so you guys continue down the pathway. And there's multiple places where, you know, the hedge is really still thick on the two sides of the road. If you've ever been like on a road where the trees have grown into the point where they're basically only trimmed off by the vehicles going by, it kind of feels like that. This is obviously a fairly well traveled trod, but there's a lot of little places where there's little deer tracks and things like that leading off from it. And you know, you're kind of going, okay, well, I'm not sure exactly where this, you know, which path is the way. And then roll me a perception plus wits, please. I'm sorry, a wits plus composure. I'm checking your perception. Two, 1, and 1. Okay, fantastic. The three of you who got 2, you hear something sounds like whimpering, just like a slight tone of, actually, all of you hear that, and then the three of you who rolled the 2s, you can tell that it's ahead. It's very faint, so you're not really sure how far away it is, but it's very definitely off to the right side. So it's not like not along the trod. The trod continues forward, and if you'd like to roll me one more wits plus composure, please, unless you have something in particular that you are going to try to do. If you have an ability that you think will be more suited to this, something involving investigation or hedge
Eavesdrop.
travel.
Eavesdrop, maybe?
Eavesdrop. Oh, yeah, let's definitely take a look at that. Eavesdrop, and that is Raz. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, investigation plus. Okay, so Raz, you go ahead and roll me, let's say, wits plus, wits plus eavesdrop, and give yourself wits plus investigation, and give yourself the extra die for eavesdrop. Does anybody else have anything that they think would be particularly pertinent to it, either a contract or a skill combination, something to do with traveling through the hedge, noticing things, that kind of thing? If not, then go ahead and just roll me your wits plus composure.
I can sense plants. I don't know if that.
Sure, you can definitely try and use that instead of a perception. You can definitely try to tell if the plants in the area have been disturbed recently, or look for an area where they have been disturbed off of the trod that might indicate that somebody had passed through there. Jacob, I think Squash is well suited towards this. They actually have investigation and investigation in the hedge, so you might want to roll wits plus investigation plus hedge.
Okay, wait. Or does the hedge give me an additional die?
Yes, that because you are in the hedge, that specialty will allow you to have an extra die on that pool.
Okay. Oh my God, there's so many die. Okay, give me a second.
This is kind of what that character was built to do. You are in your home territory.
Okay.
3, 3, 2, 4. Fantastic. So Sky and Ash, you guys are like, I think that was off to the right. Like Ash is like, I feel like the plants in this area are still vibrating a little bit from where they were disturbed. And Sky, you're like, yeah, I think it was coming from this way. The call echoed the right direction. Marlo and Raz, you guys are like, wait, yeah, there's a deer track here. I bet they went down this direction. Like it feels like this leads right to there. And Squash, you're like, oh yeah, that sound was, approximately 100 yards in the right direction, or in the direction to the right. And it was that was Lane. Or Loon. Sorry, that was totally Loon. That's I've heard that whimper before. That's Loon. So
We're getting awfully close. We might need to go sneaky,
Yeah.
stealthy.
Sure.
Okay, so you guys want to try a stealthy approach?
Before we do stealthy, I'm gonna use my never tread contract real quick.
Okay, fantastic. So let's see. That is your intelligence plus your weird. And have you spent at least an hour barefoot in the past day? Do you think Squash would have done that?
Yeah, I feel like they probably go home and just take their shoes off to make sure that this is ready.
Fair. That's completely fair. I can see changelings like having this bizarre little routine that they go through every day to make sure that their catches are all handled. So any contract that they want to do is just like prepped.
Yeah, they're like hardcore, probably just sleep in the backyard all the time. Like,
right? Exactly. I just have a hammock back there. It's way
Hammock
comfy.
life.
Just imagine spreading the toes out. Just big stretch.
It's
one
fantastic.
success.
Okay, fantastic. That's all you needed. So yeah, you look down and behind you where your footsteps had been in this kind of marshy ground, completely gone. Okay, so there is like a small deer track that is veering off here. Your guys are gonna approach it kind of stealthily. Why don't you all give me let's try dexterity plus stealth. Unless you're doing something other supernatural other than just trying to walk quietly. Fantastic. Sky. Oh God, man, you guys are so stealthy. You can't even hear yourselves move. You move up like you are just ninjaing under branches, and there's like a little place where there's somebody notices that there's some rocks that have kind of tumbled against each other, and they point it out so that nobody trips into them, so they don't make those clicky clacky noises. And you guys are all able to get, without making a sound, up to the edge of what appears to be a hollow. And a hollow is a place within the hedge that somebody has dedicated enough time and energy to essentially claim it as their own. And they can be as small as like a fox's den all the way up to like an orchard with farmland and stuff like that inside of it. And this one is small. It's probably maybe, I don't know, you could throw a stone from where you are and hit the stone house that's in the center of it. And if you were standing at the stone house, you could throw another stone and hit the hedge on the other side. So it's about that big across. And there's a small building. It's a little bit bigger than a hut. You figure it's probably got more than one room. It's made of stone, and it's all very overgrown with ivy. Obviously someone has been or has invested enough energy into the hollow to keep the briars back. But the natural plants here, like the grasses, are all, shin high, and the ivy has kind of overgrown up and is twining up into the thatch roof and that sort of thing. And you can definitely hear the occasional, like if you pause at the edge of the clearing, you can definitely hear every once in a while just a little kind of muffled whimper. What would you like to do?
Investigate the whimper.
Okay. So let's see. That is Raz. And how would you like to go investigate? Are you going to creep up to the house? Are you going to try to talk to the wind? Are you going to do something else that I haven't thought of?
I was first thinking of just creeping up and listening to try to get that eavesdrop because it's a larger pool. But I do like the idea of asking the wind with my little bell on a string.
Aw, sorry, I got distracted by a puppy. Okay, fantastic. So you've got your little bell on the string, and you kind of like dangle it across a vine so that as the wind moves the vine a little bit, it just makes a very tiny little tinkling noise. Go ahead and roll me your socialize plus weird. Got one success. Fantastic. So the wind whispers, what can I do for you?
Do you know what's in whimpering in the house?
Yes.
Could you tell me, please?
Yes. It's a little boy.
Who owns the house?
She does.
Is she reptilian and wears stiletto heels?
Sometimes.
Does she also have flatware? Is that like, does she have like flat shoes? Flats? Like,
Yes.
okay, good. Good.
Sometimes.
Better for her feet. Is she there now?
Like you're all concerned about her podiatry. I'm sorry.
Raz is really great at avoiding situations. So the idea of like going into one.
She's like, maybe I could ask about the weather. I don't know.
Where do you get your toes done? I don't know. Is she there? Is she here?
Yes.
Is the little boy, does he have moon eyes? Do you know?
Yes. Like the moon.
Okay. Are you willing to help us fight her or get our friend out?
I cannot fight.
Can you distract?
What's in it for me?
Bells on strings.
3.
Okay. Right now.
And the wind swirls around. You feel like the oncoming of a storm, and the grass in this area starts kind of swirling, and the fallen leaves pick up after it, and they're starting to kind of spiral up like little dust devils, and the wind like circles around the building. You can see it in the dust on the ground, and it's kind of circling around it, and then it picks up and it's tumbling up into the branches, and some dead branches fall out of the tree leaves and fall down like on the thatched roof, and there's even more of a whimper inside, and this carries on for like a minute or two. Would you like to do anything during that time, or are you going to wait till it's over, or?
All right. Do we want to ambush or hide?
Yes. And yes.
Yes, both. Could we pulse, ambush, and hide? Preferably in that order.
I'll take retreat if you take ambush.
Might just whisper to my friend here, hey, does your fart in the wind friend know if there's like a door to get into this hut? Hi.
There is, you can see a door in the front, like the pathway leads up to the door.
Okay.
But the door it's slightly ajar. It's a big wooden door, but it's obviously not closed and locked. It's still,
okay.
Just like partly ajar.
We could just walk on in.
Okay, I'm going to sneak up to the door.
Okay.
If there's any movement.
Is anybody going, attempting to move quicker than Raz sneaking up to the door?
I'll just tiptoe behind.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right behind.
You guys are letting Raz take lead? Okay, fantastic. Raz, go ahead.
I'm keeping pace with Raz.
Okay. So Raz and Marlo in front, Sky is behind, Ash and Squatch, are you going to be behind the three of them?
Yeah, I think so.
I duck behind a rock.
Duck behind a rock? Ash is like, we'll just see how this goes. Okay, fantastic. So you're trying to move real stealthy, Ash, go ahead, or Raz, go ahead and give me a dexterity plus stealth. You are not retreating at this point yet, so you don't get your extra point for your specialization.
hold on, I got a 10. So
Ooh, nice. Fantastic. Okay, yeah, you sneak right up to the doorway. Marlo, could you please roll me a dexterity plus stealth?
2.
2. Okay, fantastic. You managed to move right alongside them. And Sky, how about you? Dexterity and stealth? You're
2
very
successes.
fantastic. You guys all have managed to traverse this thing. The wind is going a little bit. You think that's probably giving you a little bit of like environmental cover from being heard as your footsteps go up to the doorway. And you definitely, as you get closer, you can definitely hear whimpering, and you can also hear a high-pitched, very feminine voice that is whispering in a vaguely, it's not threatening per se, but definitely kind of a creepy fashion.
I really want to try mimicking it in like shouting at the house, like in that voice, but I don't know if
Okay, you could
I want
try.
mimicking.
Sure. Let's see. How about let's try manipulation and expression. That seems like an appropriate cross path for attempting to mimic a voice.
Dang it, I have a special in mimicry under subterfuge.
Oh, subterfuge. Nope, that's fantastic. Let's use that one instead. That's perfect. So go ahead and give me manipulation, subterfuge, and mimicry. And tell me how many successes you get. 4 successes? Fantastic. Yes, you sound as you're speaking out over the sound of the wind, you realize that as the words are coming out of your voice, do you know what you're going to try to say? Like what words?
Come out the one who pretends to be me. I don't know.
Okay, fair. But you realize as you're saying this that all of your S's are very syllabus. So it's come out, the one who's mimicking me. It's very, very, every time you hit an S type sound, it's very hissy. And the whimpering inside picks up, and the voice inside, the other voice with it, sounds very confused, and it's like drops off entirely.
It's your turn, Marlo.
Get him. We've come to the get him portion of the evening.
Roll for get him.
I already forgot him.
You traded that one.
Yeah. I said I was gonna get another one. Let's see how this goes. All right. Gonna sneak up onto the porch.
Okay.
And kind of, almost like military cue, like you stand over here, and
yeah.
1, 2, 3, pull up the whip that I got. And just kick the door open.
Kick the door open? Fantastic.
Get your damn hands off him, you dirty snake.
Fantastic. Okay, so Marlo, you roll me a strength and what seems appropriate here? Maybe strength and athletics, maybe? You're not really in combat yet, so brawl is not really appropriate, but yeah, why don't you...
Would intimidation make sense?
Sure. If you're because the door does not actually need to be broken down. It was ajar, so just kicking it will at least push it in far enough that you can get. And if your attempt is less about breaching the door, because that's kind of a given, and more about hoping to intimidate the people that are inside the room, then definitely go ahead and give me a presence plus intimidation, because you're like, ugh.
Intimidation 3. Would I get the seen it all part of this too?
What?
Would the seen it all part of intimidation count for this?
Yeah, because you're not worried about whatever it is that you're charging in here and talking to. Sure, yeah, throw that puppy in there.
Freaky snake lady.
Yeah.
All
Who
right.
cares? I've fought a lot of freaky snake ladies.
1. Out of 6 dice.
Well, you were pretty intimidating. I mean, yeah, it probably would have been way better if the wind wasn't whipping so hard outside. I think that really kind of, affected how impressive your voice carried through the thing. But yeah, no, you're definitely get the feeling that like you made a good, you weren't quite Rambo, but you were definitely Clint Eastwood. Yeah, and there is a scrambling from inside of the building. The room, you kick open the door, and the room is near empty. There is what's visible in the front space is an open area with a fireplace, and there appears to be a door off to one side, and there's a scrambling sound in that room. And it sounds like people kind of like maybe moving furniture or moving around and bumping into furniture or that kind of thing. And there's definitely Lane's voice is gone into full panic mode, and the snaky sounding voice is low and kind of like staccato, like, yeah, I told you that they were coming. I told you that this was going to happen. I told you.
I'm going to charge the door.
Okay, fantastic. Now this door is closed. Are you going to stop and try and open it, or are you just going to like kick the door down, or?
I'm concerned they're trying to barricade it.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna charge it.
Just gonna charge it. Okay, definitely this time. Give me a strength plus, probably with athletics.
Okay, athletics is 0. That's fine.
Nothing? Okay. So Marlo goes charging over to this door, and just like he's doing his best action star thing here, right? And he goes up and goes to kick the door, bounces back off of it, and lands on his butt. The door kind of vibrates, and strangely enough, after he hits it and bounces back off of it, it does open into the room, but like nobody comes out of the room or anything. What would the rest of you inside the building or still outside?
I'm gonna go in.
I'm going in. I'm right behind.
Okay. Is anybody not going in? Ash, are you still hiding out behind a rock, or are you going to come in?
I'm
follow in?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you guys are all in this room. There is one open door to the side. There is Lane. It's pathetic at this point. I mean, he's just sobbing uncontrollably. It sounds like through his hands, kind of, no. And the woman's voice is still just like, I told you this would happen. I warned you, but you weren't afraid, were you? No, you were brave, weren't you? What would you like to do next?
Can I still mimic her?
You can try, sure.
Okay.
Why don't you roll me whatever it was that you rolled before? I know you had a god-awful large pool for that, so.
3.
3? Okay, yeah, you sound just like a snake woman. What would you like to say?
She's lying. I never told you. Like, I want to just say, like, she's lying. This isn't the truth. It's not what you think.
Okay. Let me make a roll for Loon. Yeah, Loon is Loon's not here right now. He's pretty much sunk into sobby non-responsiveness. So you sound just like her. And in fact, you can hear, like, as he continues to just sob, she's like, what the hell is going on? Who in my house?
Someone who you should pay more attention to than their sobbing friend sitting on your floor.
There is a exasperated sigh comes from the bedroom. And there are the slow staccato footsteps of a pair of stilettos on the wooden boards of this floor. And unless anyone is going to do anything before she gets to the door. Nope. Okay.
I will get ready to use my whip.
Okay. The door, which was partially ajar, is flung open in a extremely dramatic fashion. And there is, before you is a woman who, her skin is green and scaled like a serpent. She's got a hint of fangs. She's got long black hair that's been pulled into a braid that's over her shoulder. She's very tall and very slim. She's dressed all in black. And she looks at the five of you. What the hell are you doing in my home?
You left your door open.
Safety first.
We're
like your shoes.
security.
We tried to teach Luna about stranger danger. It just didn't work.
You're right. It didn't. That's why I'm here. And she kind of shrugs and shakes her head, and her braid tumbles loose. And as it does, it kind of falls in front of her face. And she parts it, and it flips back. And she is now an extremely pale, like alabaster skinned. And her eyes are dark black. Her lips are dark black. Her hair is dark black. And she looks at you and says, if you'd done your job in the first place, he wouldn't be here.
Well, there's a second time for everything. Okay. I would know. I just gave the first memory away, and I'm going to throw the whip at her.
Okay.
And basically just try to, like, restrain her somehow.
Okay, fair enough. Why don't you give me look at your stats and tell me what you think would be an appropriate combo based on what you're trying to do. Would anyone else like to do anything as she's standing there indignantly?
Did you hire us for something? Just straight up, like.
Why would I hire you? You obviously couldn't even do the job of training him properly.
So.
Dexterity plus weaponry.
Okay, that sounds great. Go ahead and roll that for me.
All right.
Yesterday.
And can I add my weird with bite of the wooden fang?
I have no idea, but probably. Increase yeah, totally. Let's see. So that's reflexive. So you're doing it at the same time as the attack. So go ahead and it affects the number of successes rolled for. It gives you a bonus of damage based on your successes. So go ahead and roll your attack first, and then roll to activate the bite of the wooden fang. And if you're successful on that, then essentially you'll do double damage. You'll do as many points of damage as you did successes for the attack.
Okay. Well, I got 1 for the attack.
Okay.
I need a bigger dice, Joe. And then the dexterity plus weird for the wooden fang. My dex. Dexterity is 3. Plus weird is 1. And I got a 10.
Fantastic.
All right. So that would be 1. That would be 1 success on that one.
That's all you needed for that. So you basically you fling your whip at her, and it wraps around her. It's obvious the thorns cut into her a little bit. You can see there's places where, you know, it's kind of her shirt sleeves are sheer enough that you can see where they've bitten in and caused a little bit of extra bleeding there. And she just looks at you like, how dare you, in my own home?
Don't worry, I'll remember this one.
I certainly would hope so. Growing incautious is one of the biggest mistakes that we can make as changelings.
Well,
Since you seem to have no sense of propriety, perhaps I should go first. I'm Selena, fairest shadow soul of the Autumn Court. And you are other than intruders?
we're with him.
I see.
And just pointing to the other four and like, go get him. I got her. Oh, did no one invite you to the big summer court blowout? You.
Parties,
Trade.
really not my thing.
Are they though? That's where you go to get seen, and you seem to be expecting everybody to know who you are.
Oh, no. I prefer
No.
it when people don't know who I am.
Hmm.
Although when they do come into my home, I appreciate it when they use at least something akin to proper manners.
Well, I mean, if you'd rather take things outside.
Uh-oh.
I heard my friend whimpering and reacted in favor of defending him. So
Oh, he's
excuse
fine. He's just frightened, and therefore much safer than he was when he was lounging in your apartment building.
What do you want with him?
I want him to be safe, the same as I want with all changelings.
From what?
From everything that's out there. He's much, much more cautious now than he was when he came along with me. So my job has been accomplished. Hopefully you'll be able to pick up where my training is left off.
So that means you're done?
Oh, I think I've done all I need to for now.
Okay. I'm going to slide over and, I don't know, gently pat his head. I'm just going to...
At first, Loon's very much like, whoa, oh. And then when he sees it's you guys, he's like, is it really you guys? Is this real?
It's best we can tell.
Or a collective delusion, one of the two.
I'll take that.
Okay.
I'll take that.
Great.
I'll take that.
Great.
Can we go home now?
Yes.
And Selena smiles and she says, oh, yes, please do, Loon. But remember, you never know who's coming to visit.
So
Don't open the door.
I like a good pair of shoes just as much as anybody else. Why did you follow this lady?
She said that this wasn't, that you all weren't, that you were just working for my keeper, and that she could show me the way out. I mean, she looked like a snake then, but it made sense when she said it. I know it sounds kind of lame now, but it made sense when she said it, and I wanted to get out.
But a snake with shoes?
I
They don't
didn't
even
really
have
pay any
teeth.
attention to her shoes.
Yeah. I don't know. If somebody comes up to me and they're a snake and they have shoes, I'm questioning everything.
I'll remember that for next time.
Okay.
I'm going to question a lot more things.
Yeah.
And Celine smiles and she says, see, my job here is done.
Cool.
All right. Get out of here. It smells like
Yeah, let's go.
aquarium.
Delightful. So So unless
Raz
you
is
guys
like
have any,
hiding.
yeah, right. I didn't. Oh, please don't piss off anybody. It's okay. So unless you guys have any particular sidetracks or anything that you want to make, you're able to basically backtrack yourselves through back to the Goblin Market, and from there you can use one of the courtyards or one of the stone arches to open a gateway out into the real world in a location that's convenient for you. There's multiple different gateway destinations basically throughout the city that you can get to. There's one that's not too far, maybe a 10-minute walk from your guys' home, that opens out onto the city park. And this late at night, you know that probably there's not going to be many people around to that one. So if you'd like to use that one, it's a fairly low risk way of getting back towards your apartment.
We do owe somebody a story. We might want to stay in their good
Oh.
graces.
Yeah.
Delightful,
True.
delightful. You're going to go back to Melusine's place then?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Raz owes them the story. We can actually.
Raz, it's like,
That's
Raz,
true.
that's all on Raz, man. So it is 8 o'clock, so our session time is over. You guys did a really good job. We'll assume that Raz went back with or without escort and gave the little piece of information about what happened. Are you going to mislead Melusine at all, or is she going to pretty much get like a blow by blow of what you guys actually did?
I don't want to mislead, but I want to embellish.
Oh, nice. Nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice. So everybody did a lot more impressive things. That
Mhm.
door totally flew open when Marlowe kicked it down.
With the intent that if I hear these rumors of this story, I know if it's changed or something.
Oh, very nice. Very
Ooh.
smart. That person knows how to rumor monger. Delightful. Well, you guys did a great job. This was really, really, really enjoyable. Do you have any questions about what we went through, about the mechanics, about Changeling in general, anything like that that I can answer for you before we head our separate directions?
The thing that keeps sticking in my mind is the idea of, not so much a race and a culture informing somebody's how they see things, but like having a trauma inform that, or a something, or a big event, or a life event. That's really interesting to me.
Yeah,
And so I thought it was really cool.
cool.
Just kind of
Thank you
related to what
very
we're
much.
talking about.
Thank you. I'm really excited about how this might. I certainly am not a therapist, so I don't know how exactly it could be applied into therapeutic purposes, but my gut feeling is that there's some when you have a hammer and a screwdriver, you can inherently address more problems than if all of your tools are hammers. So I think that's one of the great things about doing this program and getting an opportunity to do several different sessions of different games, because each one is going to offer you different tools that you can then apply to your therapeutic practices, depending upon which one seems like it's best for the situation and the clients you're dealing with. So thank you guys very much for letting me introduce you to this tool. And if there's anything that I can do for you guys, if you're like me and you think of questions immediately after hanging up, you can find me in the Discord channel. I'm at Jess Hartley on Twitter, on Facebook, on most media, and I'm always at your service. So if there's anything else that I can do for you, please let me know. And you guys all did an amazing job. I loved how you guys all came to the table and brought your ideas and adapted them. And you guys did a really good job considering you hadn't played Changeling before. It was amazing. Good job.
Way to
Thank
go,
you.
Cohort.
Yeah, go Cohort. You are the best motley crew. Okay, wonderful.
Really
well, I'll be around if you need anything, and I'll talk to you guys later, okay?
Awesome.
Thank you.
Great.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.